Education Minister, the ANC's Nobuhle Nkabane, has now written to the chair of Parliament's Higher Education Portfolio Committee saying she needs more time before telling Parliament who was on what she has claimed was an independent committee that gave her advice. Nkabane had previously said that she had appointed certain people as chairs of the SETAs based on the advice of that independent panel. But President Cyril Ramaphosa then told her to withdraw the appointments after it turned out they were all closely linked to the ANC and to ANC officials. Now, Parliament wants to know who was on this committee. The DA's Karabo Khakhau is a member of the Higher Education Portfolio Committee. Karabo, good afternoon to you. The minister claims she needs more time to follow the right processes, that there's paperwork, she has to get permission from the people before she names them. Do you believe her?
Good afternoon, Stephen. Good afternoon to you, Newzroom Afrika viewers. I do not believe her. There's no such thing. One, if those people exist, then she automatically knows naturally who they are because she would have appointed them. So all she needs to do is to pen a paper down, and she can even do it via WhatsApp, and tell the committee chairperson, who will forward the message to the committee of who those people are. So her refusal to give us the names of those people gives us two impressions. That one, either they do not exist at all, and that the final appointments for the board, for the SETA board chairpersons, came straight from Luthuli House and directive, the ANC national chairperson. Or two, the same principle that the composition of the panel exists, compromises or constitutes a cadre deployment committee that has ANC-aligned people who were given a clear brief of who they're supposed to appoint there. It makes absolutely no sense that there was 573 applications that were submitted for these positions, that the final 20 that were ultimately appointed not only comprise of former premier of the KZN, former MECs from KZN, a former communications minister of the ANC, the advisor of Ntate in ministry, his son, and a whole lot of other people who are deployed across district municipalities as well. So this is why, for me and the Democratic Alliance, it makes absolutely no sense for her to say she needs more time, particularly because the committee has already given her extreme lenience. Her deadline was yesterday. The first letter that was written to the committee chairperson was dated the 13th of May last month, which I sent on behalf of the Democratic Alliance. And since then, we've had 5 meetings, 5 of which one she's only been present for. And in that one, she made it blatantly clear that she was not prepared to answer any of our questions. And her citing reasons like the Poppy Act is completely ludicrous. There's nothing about the Poppy Act that says you cannot tell us who those people are. We're not asking for their IDs. We're not asking for their home addresses. None of us are asking about which vehicles they drive. We're asking who are they, particularly because the decisions that they took on behalf of government of the Republic of South Africa, comprising of a decision that governs 19 billion rands of the state coffers. So the DA has written again today, Stephen, to the Portfolio Committee to say Minister Nkabane has missed her deadline. We don't have more time to give her grace. And I've referred the chairperson to, and I'm going to read in my letter, I said, I hereby refer you to Rule 167A of the Rules of the National Assembly, read with conjunction with Section 4 of the Powers, Privileges and Immunities of Parliament and the Provincial Legislatures Act of 2004. This empowers the Portfolio Committee to summon any person to appear before it, to give it evidence on oath or affirmation, or to produce documents. So what we want as the Democratic Alliance is a subpoena and nothing else. If they exist, tell us who they are. The people want to know because it is their lives that are at stake. And if they don't exist, equally you lied and you must pay.
Okay. So, I mean, I understand all of that, and in a way, the minister needs to now make a decision about what she's going to do next. You say that Minister Mantashe, yes, he is the ANC chair, he's also the Minister of Mineral Resources and Petroleum, was involved in this. I realise that his son was one of the appointees. He has said that his son is independently qualified, and academically speaking, that's absolutely true. Do you have any evidence at all that Mantashe was involved in this?
So that's why the subpoena process is important, Stephen, because nobody is asking the question about whether or not Wiyambo is qualified or not. The question is whether they are qualified for that particular SETA. You would know that his qualifications have everything to do with agriculture and nothing to do with engineering. So that is another bone of contention. But the other Mantashe linked individual who was appointed is his advisor in ministry, Utatu Konde, who was been loyal to the ANC for a very long time. And these are just but two people who answer to the ANC. When you consider in the greater scheme of things, other people who were deployees of the ANC in government, particularly in KZN, you find people who are currently heading up the Ministry of Transport in KZN, also currently the HOD, also there. So the principal argument here that we're making as the Democratic Alliance, Stephen, is that decisions around SETA appointments should be free of political manipulation. People should be appointed on the basis of their qualifications, but not just qualifications, but on the basis of merit. Because if we just lean on the argument that just because you have an NQF level 9, you were saved from the conversation, even though you're an ANC cadre, then we might as well say it is all fair and good for you to be corrupt, all fair and well for you to try to capture the state as long as you have an NQF level 9. That does not work. The Democratic Alliance maintains that the committee has exercised too much lenience. The chairperson has been more than cute in this process. What needs to happen moving forward, particularly given that Nkabane has made it clear that she's not willing to account, she must be subpoenaed.
Okay, so Karabo, if it turns out that the minister did lie, and I mean, she hasn't produced the names yet, what happens then? Can she really stay on in cabinet? Do you think she would have to be removed? And I mean, it's a fun coalition you're in.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a cute situation at all. Two, she would need to serve before the ethics committee. The public protector would also have to consider the case of her breach of the executive ethics code of conduct, and also she can't serve there. Essentially, even if she didn't lie, the fact that her behavior in the past months have caused so much public cry is reason enough for President Ramaphosa for her to consider whether or not she is the best deployee to sit there. But whether or not the DA is going to call for her removal is a decision that is yet to be taken in alignment with our leadership, John Steenhuisen and FedEx's steer on that, given the complexities of the GNU. But the bottom line is we shouldn't have ministers that are arrogant and bold to the extent of thinking that they can evade accountability in Parliament, and that they can gaslight and ghost South Africans on decisions that affect not only their lives, but affect over 19 billion rands of the state's funds.
Karabo Khakhau, thanks very much indeed. Speaking as a DA MP, a member of the Portfolio Committee on Higher Education.